You thought you gotten rid of me, didn't you? But I'm back with a vengeance. No, all kidding aside, it's about high time I got on here and addressed what's been going on with me, and you know, tell you some of the cool stuff I kind of got into over the break, I guess you could say. If you count my last video, that was like the end of a season. Now we're gonna jump back if you wanted to paraphrase that. First off, that weather out there sucks. It's windy, rainy. It's February, and it's nasty. My power flickered about, I don't know, 6, 8 times since I got home. And just an all in all crappy day. So let's start with what's going on with me. The last video I dropped was about Twin Peaks. And I was going to do a follow-up, but I got derailed because I had a bad tooth in the front. So a couple of dentist visits, you know how they work on your mouth, guys, and then your mouth is like really, really hurt and tired. And then all you want to do is sleep. So ended up being I had to have a root canal. Not the most fun things in the world, but hey, you got to get rid of the pain somehow, right? So I did that. I'm on the mend for that. I'm taking extra strength antibiotics, and I'm basically bounced back to normal. In the time from my last video till this one, there's something that I want to address, and it's something that you're either on one side or the other. You're not in the middle. But anyway, I'll tell you what happened. My wife bought me the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game. I had been eyeing up the game since its development. First, I first seen screenshots about it, and it's really cool. I thought it was pretty cool. Of course, I've been playing games, like The Division, and those, third-person shooters. Resident Evil, I guess you could call to mind. So I was used to that. Borderlands, is another looter shooter. So I was playing a lot of this game, and I actually finished the campaign, and as I'm playing it every day, I got on, and I'm playing it little by little, right? Now, I'm not a comic book guy. I don't know much about the DC universe. I know Batman, Flash, the usual. But I'm not steeped in lore like some of these guys that hang out at the comic book shop, and I know they know a lot more than me. And that's cool. I thought the game was fun from a non-comic book fan. The game was phenomenal. I thought it was a fun blast. And then I started reading how much people hate this game. And they hated it for a few reasons. One, it's a live service game. Well, I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this, but I'm going to say my opinion. And granted, it's only my opinion. It doesn't mean it's actual law. My opinion is if I spend $100 and some on a game, or even $70 if it's a live service game, I would look forward to other boards, other characters for free, so the game can continue. Now, Fortnite's been doing that garbage for years. And you know what? I don't see anybody complaining about that live service. I'm not, biased about live service. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I'm just saying it's nice to get free content. At the same time, most people finish a single player game and want it to end or wait for the sequel. As I told you, power went off, and when the power goes off and comes back on, my air conditioner comes on. Go figure that one. So, hang on with me while I turn this off. Alright. Yeah, it's weird. Every time the power kicks on and off, the air conditioner comes back on because it's wired differently. But hey, you'll have that. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm not on the fence about live service games. I don't have an opinion about them. I just think if I'm spending the money to buy a game and it is considered live service, I would like it to continue. Another gripe of the game was that IGN basically didn't like this game from the very jump for whatever reason, and they trashed it. I've watched the review many times. I've showed my friends the review. And basically, whoever reviewed it is biased because, A, it's not an Arkham game, which is Rocksteady's baby. Arkham games were games-based, guys, if you don't know anything about them, where you were played as Batman, and they were probably rated one of the most flawless, perfect games on IGN or GameSpot or anywhere else you look. This was a departure from that formula, and I think it pissed a lot of people off and thus created hate. The other thing is, I love the Suicide Squad movie. The James Gunn thing, I love it. I even love the other one, the one with Will Smith, even though I don't think Will Smith is that great. But that's another story for another time. I even like that one. I like the characters. I like the anti-heroes. I like psychopaths who, were unlikable guys, but then at the end of the thing, you ended up liking them. And I like the humor. I liked how absurd and crazy it was, and I like the anarchic wit. So I'm a big fan of that. So therefore, I am a big fan of the game, preferably Harley Quinn. I just saw Birds of Prey not too long ago. That movie is rocking. Despite what you might think or read, I had a good time watching it, and it was excessively violent. And Ewan McGregor plays a great villain, the Black Mask. You guys should check him out. But I didn't understand the hate. So anyway, I finished the game, and my overall thought was, it's fun. It's a fun, stupid ride. And then I see people going, well, they kill Superman. They kill Batman. Oh, my God. Well, here's the thing, guys. If you guys don't remember, let me take you a trip back down memory lane, okay? I was about maybe 13 or 14. And my uncle, who lives up in Maine, called me. He called my family, and he talked to me a little bit. And he says, you know what? He says, they're going to kill off Superman. He's like, I'm going to get you the Death of Superman comic. I said, okay. Weird. I got the Death of Superman comic book, and I got it in a black wrapped case, signifying the death. And they were going to end Superman forever. If you guys remember this, they were going to end Superman forever. So they pitched an idea that this creature from Krypton called Doomsday would come over and kill Superman, and it was annihilating, superheroes left and right. Well, everyone bought into the idea Superman was dead. Nobody complained. Nobody bitched. Of course, people were mad. Okay, they're going to kill off Superman. But Superman had an incredible run from the 60s. That's what they made you believe. And if you guys remember, before the Adventures of Lois and Clark, Christopher Reeve played Superman for 4 movies. My favorite being number 3. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, Richard Pryor was also in that film. But anyway, nobody complained about that. Nobody put up a fuss about that. And then they ultimately decided to bring Superman back. Why? Because from a business standpoint, that sells comic books. That drives up your price. But again, nobody threw a fit like they were throwing off of this Suicide Squad game. Oh my God, they killed Superman. Oh my God, we killed the Flash. Well, you know what? It's pop culture. You can do anything you want. Everybody was complaining that Harley Quinn put a bullet in Batman's head. You know what? Yeah, it's a little bit shocking, but maybe it was meant to be. And maybe it was a sign, don't take the game seriously. But whatever the case, the writers, the creators of the game could go, you know what? That wasn't really Batman. No. And therefore could write another chapter. Or another theory suggests, because the whole game takes place because Brainiac hijacks the whole city and actually inadvertently takes over the Justice League. What if, guys, whenever we killed them, after the story ends, they come back as playable characters? Nobody thought about that. They quickly jumped on the bandwagon and hate everywhere. I had a fun time with the game, and that's really all I really want to say about that. As far as live service or what people are complaining about, I actually think Warner Brothers did a good job. Granted, I'm not the smartest cat in the world, but it was a fun game. And you know what? The story, for what it was actually fun. And the Rad Brad, he'll agree with you. One of the funniest things, though, is one of the IGN reporters, or the, reviewers, said that the Flash is a boss in the game. If you guys haven't played the game, the Flash is a boss, and he does jump around the arena, pretty steadily. And the reviewer said that it was a hard fight because you didn't know where he was going to appear. And my comment was, if you're going to put the Flash as a boss, what is he going to do? Stand there? No, he's going to zip around. He's going to use his power to beat you. So therefore, this guy was either oblivious to the fact that, that the Flash could do that, or just got irritated and said, you know what, the hell with it, I hate the game, and this is my tipping point. But whatever. I like the game. I will defend the game because I had a good time with it. Of course, I didn't read much into it. I think it was, you know, fun at best, and it was easy. It was an easy game. So there's that. Now let's talk about another thing that I did over the course of my dental work, which I'm still not done. I got to go back next week. Saw a movie, you guys, and I don't know who's in it because I don't have it with me, and I'm not going to turn on Netflix because power might go out here any minute. I'm hoping not. If it is, you guys are going to see a show. I watched, because I had the Blu-ray I got the Blu-ray ordered. I watched Eli Roth's holiday slasher called Thanksgiving. I'm not going to really go into who's into it, but I will tell you this. For an R-rated movie, and especially with Eli Roth at the helm, you cannot go wrong. This movie, in the last half hour, maybe 45 minutes of the movie, really pushes the R rating pretty steadily. I'm talking about there was things in this movie, gore-wise, that almost made you cringe. And it takes a lot to make me cringe, guys. But this film really pushed the R rating, above and beyond what most filmmakers would push. And I love Eli Roth. And by the way, speaking of Eli Roth, the series that he did that I had it wrong was The History of Horror. Okay? I said that on one of the videos, and I had it wrong, and it's History of Horror. There was 2 seasons. There might actually be a 3. Because I knew AMC hosted it. If you go on AMC Plus, it's there. But anyway, to recap Thanksgiving, for those of you who don't know what it's about, it's a little interesting film. It takes elements from Friday the 13th. It takes elements from Scream. And it takes elements from, obviously, slasher films. I don't consider the original Friday the 13th a slasher film as much as I consider it a mystery. Like, who's doing the killing? Why are they doing it? So they added that element in. Now, the film's premise is pretty interesting. There is a family that owns a convenience store, or not a convenience store, a Walmart-like place. Let me just put it that way. And this movie takes place on Black Friday. So the actual event, the reason it's called Thanksgiving is because it takes a year for this whole film to go by. There is a Black Friday melee massacre, is the best way to put it. And it's horrific, satirical, gory, and yet probably not that far from reality back in the day, where a lot of people die. And then we fast forward to 1 year later. And then, of course, like any good slasher, kills happen. And there are some awesome kills. And there's some very creative set pieces. And I'm not talking about your run-of-the-mill like axe to the head or knife to the eye. Eli Roth sets the kill scenes up and the murder scenes to be like something out of a Dario Argento film. It's about all I can put it. You won't know the killer. I sat here for almost 1 hour and 45 minutes trying to figure out who the guy in the John Carver mask was doing the killing, and I could not figure it out to the end. And I sat here and I tried to rule out suspects in the movie. And when I finally figured out, I was like, what? Now, at the very tail end of the movie, there will be a sequel. They do pull a page out of Psycho Cop 2. If you guys haven't seen that, check it out. Riff Coogan did that one, 91, and I think Vinegar Syndrome put out an uncut version of that. But if you happen to see the last 5 minutes of the movie, it's almost very comparable to the end of Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving was a hell of a gore fest. I really enjoyed it. I also caught the new Saw movie. I was going to say the newest installment of Saw, but it was actually the new Saw movie, Saw X. Now, Saw X is going to mislead a lot of people, but it does take place between the events of Saw 1 and Saw 2. If you guys remember, if you guys can think back, the lead character played by Tobin Bell, named John, got diagnosed with cancer. This Saw chapter is about him going to seek treatment, getting baffled, and then seeking revenge on everybody involved. And from a story standpoint, this is the one where you actually want to root for John. You want to root for the killer because you see him not as a killer in the film, but a sympathetic man who is trying to teach others the evil ways of themselves. And it's probably the most goriest Saw movie that I've seen, and that's saying a lot. The traps are just very creative, but my whole thing about these movies is, they work for so long until you realize there's only so many ways you can hurt a person, in these traps that are created. Now, I'm sure the creators will come up with many, many, many more traps because this franchise does not seem to die, which is kind of good and kind of bad. But how many more traps can you put out to draw people in? And that's why you go see a Saw movie. You don't go see it for the acting. You go see it for the gore and to see if people are going to get out of these traps or what's going to happen. So Saw X, I really, really enjoyed. I think it was a great film. It certainly isn't the strongest. I think 1 or 2, maybe even 3. 3 was my favorite of the bunch, but it ranks right up there. It ranks right up there with that. So what else? Big shout out to my man Justin Mays. And Justin, you guys, if you guys don't know him, he works at the same place I work in the facility. And Justin has his own yogurt stand. And my goal by the end of the summer is to get Justin up here so we can kick it about a movie. So hopefully that comes to fruition. And I hope, Justin, you're listening because, hey, man, Justin's a really cool cat. Justin does all these Peace Corps missions and stuff. And he goes traveling a lot to some of these foreign countries. And he showed me a picture. He's in, I think, one of these third world countries. And he found a Pittsburgh Pirates shirt. And that's pretty cool, man. That's my man, representing the hometown over there in the other countries. And I really dig him for it. Another guy I want to give a shout out is my man Connor. Connor is really cool, and we've been kicking it about David Lynch, and I've been kind of schooling him a little bit about David Lynch, because I love David Lynch. I really do. And, of course, my man Josh, JC, And I don't know if I ever mentioned, but I have a new follower, and I just met her not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. Her name's Kayla. She operates and owns a farm, guys, and from sunup till sundown, other than doing the work, she tends farm. And she's been telling me, because we've been kicking it about 80s horror films set in farmhouse, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Slaughterhouse, and all these type of things. And she told me that basically what is on the screen is depicted as far as a full working farm. So that's pretty cool, and I just want to give a shout out to her. Shout out to Emily and Casey. Emily and Casey, they've been down. Also, I was checking through my subscriptions. Peyton, my girl, one of my supporters, Peyton Lutz, I never gave her a shout out. Peyton, I am truly sorry. I just got carried away and somehow, but I caught it now. Also, a lot of you guys don't know, like, my videos reach overseas. And there's been a guy, I'm not sure if he's from Germany or Norway or, Finland. I call him Kuvalutin. I don't know what his actual name is, but that's who he is. And, it's cool to see my videos reach international status. And that's pretty cool. Also, a lot of people are asking me about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and I'm just going to put it down like this. Like I said, I mentioned that in one of my reviews. They actually have come up with a sequel. I read, too, that they're doing a Steamboat Willie horror film. At some point, this public domain stuff, it's getting out of control. Also, you know what else is getting out of control? AI. That's right, Greg said it. I'm all for change. I really am, but I read the other day about an AI-operated restaurant. Now think about that. I'll tell you what, if it can make a burger as good as what the chef does, Hey, but my point is, it's going to take jobs away. Also, one other thing. I wanted to say, I know I've been away for a while, and I still have people writing me. And sometimes, like, I write on the forums. Like the other day, I wrote about, a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 scene, and I had like 20 likes. I mean, everybody likes what I wrote. And my comment was, I know my stuff. And the thing is that, yeah, I know what I like. It might not necessarily be what you like, but I try to always give you guys an opinion about what's what. As far as movies go, um, other than Thanksgiving and Saw, there really hasn't been too much out that I've been interested in. I know we're going to get Megan 2.0, which I'm kind of excited for because I really did like the original Megan. Um, I've been just watching like old stuff, like from the 80s. And it's funny because there was a thing on YouTube not too long ago, a couple of days ago or whatever. It said, "Do you remember this movie?" And it had a picture of Denzel Washington and John Lithgow. And I'm like, oh man, I remember that. That's Ricochet. And Ricochet never did get a proper DVD, package. So I'm watching this stuff and I'm like, oh, cool. And there's a lot of movies like that, like Ice-T, and Surviving the Game. Great film. Really good action adventure movie. But for some reason fell short and never got the respect it deserved. And, speaking of Ice-T, going back and listening to some of the stuff that was really hard in the 90s, you can't make songs like that now, and it's crazy. It definitely is crazy. And, I mean, what do you do? I mean, there's talk of another Hellraiser movie. So far, they've kind of calmed down on the Texas Chainsaw movies, which I'm kind of glad because the last one was garbage. However, the game, that's the other thing I want to talk about. I like that game. I don't care what anybody says. I like it. I play solo. Well, no, I guess you can't. I play as a killer, Leatherface, whatever. But it captures the spirit of the 74 version. And that's another thing. A lot of people, they don't know about classic horror, classic crime, You ask some dude, that's a millennial right now or a current generation person. Let me just say that. And you say, about Bonnie and Clyde, and they look at you like, huh? But to my generation, Bonnie and Clyde was like Warren Beatty, and all that, and it was great. And I miss the old stuff. When you go back and watch it, you can tell. That's the other thing. This debate keeps raging on about, are we going to get rid of Blu-rays? Are we keeping Blu-rays? Best Buy and Walmart going to get out of the Blu-ray business and this and that. And then I read about a super DVD. Did you guys read about this? Super DVD can hold more movies than you can watch in a lifetime. So if they're coming out with a super DVD, right? And they might come out with a super Blu-ray, right? Where does that put regular DVDs and Blu-ray? Are we still going to have them? They're still going to be manufactured? I mean, who knows? That is our fire alarm. Y'all can hear that. Sounds like, siren. So probably somebody hit somebody or something. What else was I going to talk about? Yeah, so anyway, guys, I just wanted to touch base on you there for a little bit. I am going to get the Twin Peaks 2 video going, but that was my wife called, and she's done, so I'm going to go get her and see what we're going to do. In the meantime, it's your boy G-Dub. Peace. Oh, one more thing, Mitch. Mitch, I'm cutting a promo on you, buddy. You know who you are. Mitch is my main man. He like my brother, so got me through some tough times, and sometimes you need that. You need a shoulder. You need your brother, you know what I mean? And we might not be actual brothers, but we think the same way, and we have a bond, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just like Bad Boys. You know what I mean? Like Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. But he gonna be Will Smith, you know, because he not right. You know what I mean? But yeah. So my man Mitch, look for my Dusty Rhodes promo. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you, boy, because I'm telling you something. I'm telling you right now, Mitch. You just can't beat me. You just can't stop me. You know what I mean? Because October 22nd, the belt's coming with Dusty Rhodes. You understand? Because you got everything handed to you from day one. You got the silver spoons. You got the Lear jets. You got the limousines, Jack. You got everything. You got gold-plated plates in your house. From top to floor, floor to ceiling. You got gold-plated bathtub. But you know what? That don't mean nothing to the American dream. American dream had to work hard. He had to dig deep. He had to get on his hands and knees and scrub dirty carpets for $5 and change. And you know what? I was happy, Jack. I had everything going for me. And you know what really ticked me off? Is when I came to the wrestling event with my son, Cody. I came there. And I sat in the front row. And you walk out. You walk out among 50,000 people. And what do? You spit on Cody's face. And you just spit in the American dream. You spit on everybody in the world who did something, who got on their knees, who tried, who bled and sweat for the American dream. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Lady Liberty's son. And you done spit on all of us, man. So I'm telling you something, Mitch. You can bring your showgirl down to the ringside. I don't care. You can bring your fancy limo to Atlanta, Georgia, and the pay-per-view. I don't care, right? You can bring whatever you got. You can bring that $7,000 robe down there with your name stitched in the bottom. And I bet you didn't even pay a dime for that, did you, Mitch? But I'm going to tell you something. Bring it all, Jack. Bring everything you got. Because in that steel cage, there's going to be 3 things going to happen. Number 1, you're going to bleed all over Atlanta. Number 2, you ain't going to no hospital, Jack. No, this is the last man standing. You are not going to hospital. I'm not letting you off the hook that easy because you done spit in my son's face. Okay? And number 3, what's going to go down is going to be epic. People are going to be talking about it for years. And they're going to be saying that Dusty Rhodes, a common man from nowhere, beat one of the richest people who had everything handed to him from day one. I bet you at birth they gave you a silver spoon. That ain't gonna help you. I bet you when you were 6, you got your first Rolls Royce. That ain't gonna help you, son. What's gonna help you is whenever you're bloody and you're beat and you're tired, and I'm beat and bloody myself, and you're gonna get on down there and you're gonna say something. You're going to be on your knees. I'm going to have a steel chair in my hand. I can see it now, clear as the day is long. You're going to say, I'm sorry. That ain't going to help you. What's going to help you is giving up that belt, giving up that addiction that you have over mind control. Because see, once you get a championship, that's mind control. It's coming back to the people. You understand? We're going to get funky like a monkey in California, Jack, whenever I bring it home. But Dusty Rhodes will tell you. You can bring your valet down. And if she gets in my face, I swear to God, I'll slap her glasses right off her face. Because it come down to this. At the end of that night, I'm the better man. I've been the better man for years. And I'm going to prove it to you. Remember that, Mitch. And you remember it well. Because the last thing you're going to see is my face holding up your championship. Anyway, Mitch, that was for you. Hope you like it. And Allie, you know I'm just playing. Anyway, you guys have a good night. GW, out.